Ben, thanks for dropping by at the end of the day as well. Said easy. How's the day been for you?
It's been brilliant. What I've really loved from it, if I'm honest, is that willingness to just stay curious. We're talking about that curiosity from a student perspective, but it's been everybody's been really curious, and that's made me a little bit more curious. And yeah, it's been a great day being able to have those kind of conversations that are leading to curiosity.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough just to drop into some of your workshops and listen to the keynote as well at the start. And what I really like, and you can really like dive into this, is you're about this concept of ideas. And I think that actually is something that's really valuable with how we start to then move forward with AI, and not just about blindly using it, but the purpose of what we use it for. So obviously there's been some struggle and strife. We're not going to lie about that this morning, is there? But talk us through this new concept and I'm going to say idea that you have.
Yeah. So we were supposed to, the strife. I will mention it. Obviously, I was bringing some new products out to launch at this conference, and the baggage didn't arrive. Right. So that happens. Those things happen. The ideas comes from what I'm trying to do is realize that the basis of any really good action requires great ideas. So if we want to do something that makes a difference, we need to work out based on ideas. And ideas, in my mind, came from a question, really, from my wife. We've been married nearly 17 years. And for the last 3 years, I've been self-employed. And she said to me, "What do you actually do?" And I think that was probably because the dishwasher wasn't loaded or whatever, right? But and because I was at home. But she said to me, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Well, I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that." And some things change, some things don't. Like I'm in this place with these schools, I'm working with these businesses, I'm helping. And she went, And so I tried to articulate that, and I wanted to put that into a conversation. So IDEAS literally is an acronym for innovation, digital, education, authenticity, and strategy. So that's what IDEAS is about. And in all of the work that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help people ask questions and ask better questions to develop better ideas. So in order for change to happen, we need to ask great questions. So to innovate, we ask the question of why are we doing what we do? What do we want to achieve? What are the different ways that could be done around this? To have digital, we need to be asking questions around, okay, well, what's the best solution in this place, or what are the solutions? What problems are we trying to solve? So ultimately, in all of those areas, we're asking great questions that are helping to generate great ideas that hopefully, if we see those ideas through, will turn into action.
Fantastic. So put you on the spot. Can you give us an example, even if it's something you've seen today, used today, of a good question?
Okay, so one question that's been quite popular out of the sets of questions that we've generated is around whose voice do you need to listen to that isn't in the room right now? So we tend to move into a space of echo chambers, people that we know. And also in that space, we do a lot of work around confirmation bias and all the things that come with that, right? What that question is asking is who isn't in the room right now. That's a question and an answer in of itself. And then also it's, well, who needs to be in this room? And if those people were in this room, what difference would that make? So the questions lead to other questions. So a great question is around who do you need in the room? Who isn't in it right now? Yeah.
And what I think could be really powerful about that is it's not just then about AI, is it? It's so much more. It really is, because I can answer that question without having to use AI. But I imagine within that stack of questions you've got and everything you've talked about today, there is a connection with AI and those platforms to help ideate and create better questions.
For sure. So in that space, who isn't in the room? Well, you could ask AI, who have I not listened to? But also, if you think about the issue around bias in AI answers, where it tends to be, and I use the phrase male, pale, stale, it tends to be very much old white men driven in terms of what the outcomes from our models that we use right now, the training sets in the AI platforms. So you can address the bias of AI by asking who isn't in this room in the answers, who isn't in that, who haven't you considered in your answer, which people from the global majority do we need to have a look at, which people who are not male in this. So you can address that, but also it's that place of the AI. You're addressing the issue of AI, you're addressing how that works. Is the AI that needs to be in this conversation? So we heard actually in Romania they've just got an AI advisor, right, Eon, in Romania that's helping the Romanian government make decisions using AI. So do we need an AI tool, a chatbot in the space to help us make decisions as well? So it's not necessarily who physically isn't in the room or what conversations aren't happening in this room right now. So there's all sorts of layers in that one question, right?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So before we move on, if people are interested in finding out more about these ideas, these questions, where's a good place to find out and find you so that they can find out more about it?
Yeah, so my website is theideasguy.io. There you can find out a little bit around the newsletter that I send out every Friday, and also read a sample chapter of the book that's about to come out called The Ideas Guy. But LinkedIn is always a great place to look. I post a lot of stuff out there, but yeah, best place really is theideasguy.io.
Perfect. So just to close up with, tell us, if you think about reflecting on your day today, what is maybe going to be then one question that you can take away from the experience you've had?
Yeah, that's a good question. Right. So my natural default would be to ask a question back, but in terms of my answer back to that is, how do I take what I've picked up today and the connections I've made and then utilize them going forward? And I don't mean like use people. I use the word utilize purposefully there. The connections I've made with some people in the edtech world or in the AI world, or people that have connections I've made in different parts of the country or different parts of the world, or how do I utilize that in order to push the needle forward, not just for me and the work that I'm doing, but for others as well, because there's an opportunity to champion others, and there's some really great stuff that's happening in this conference today, and there's not everybody's hearing that. So we've got an opportunity then to champion and amplify the voices of others. So in terms of what do we do from here, it's an opportunity for me to think about how do I utilize that supports me, but also then champions and amplifies others.
Yeah, I think that is a really good self-aware, reflective question, and also means we look forward to then seeing from here how the momentum moves and what you can take from that and the type of content you keep putting out that is doing that. So thank you ever so much for dropping by and sharing that, and for speaking and sharing your knowledge and experience today as well. It's been a really great event, and again, a great keynote, great workshop, and lots of people I've spoke with moving around have been able to take a massive amount of value away from it. And I think that's always an important thing. We forget this. It's a Saturday. And it's easy to rock up to a leadership conference on a weekday and go, it's fine. But for a teacher to give up their time on a Saturday,
Sure.
it's of value. And everyone I've spoke to was really, very praise and positive about the content you've given them and what they can now take away and use from that. So thank you ever so much, Ben.
Thanks, Alex.